So you don't believe.
The Big Brother Naija men from the final 10 sat down together. Kaybobo, Koyin, Kola, Jason J, and Mensan. But what started as a fun radio chat quickly became a raw conversation about being authentic, emotions, and what it really takes to stay true in a house full of pressure. So let's unpack the most unexpected revelations from the Naija FM interview, including what Kaybobo actually meant when he mentioned Imisi's so-called spiritual powers. The internet went wild a bit when Naija FM titled the clip, "You Won't Believe What Kaybobo Said About Imisi's Spiritual Powers." To be honest, I was also intrigued and curious to know what he said about that. But after listening closely, it seems it wasn't about any dark powers at all. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was about performance power as far as I'm concerned. But then I'd love to hear your comments about that in the comment section. So, Kaybobo actually said he guessed Imisi would win because of her presentation, confidence, and her drive. He called her an alpha female and saying he himself was also an alpha female and that they were getting along fine at the beginning, but then they also had their own fair share of clashes and disagreements. He said he respects her strength and his final words were, "We drifted apart, but it was all love," and that is growth right here. Then there was Mensan. He was asked about all the while he's always crying during his daily session with Big Brother, and he tried to clear the air about his emotional side, saying he didn't plan to cry on screen, that wasn't a strategy, but that he's just an emotional person who was raised with love by his mom and his elder sisters. So he added that crying helped him to release tension instead of exploding and fighting, because definitely so much was at stake and he also wanted to win, and he knew that by being aggressive it could end him from the game or cost him the game, right? And in his own words, he said, "I didn't fight back because of anyone, but mostly because of my mom. She taught me to stay grounded." And that moment reminded fans that being a masculine can be strong and soft at the same time. So definitely nothing wrong with men being vulnerable. Then came Kola's session and he opened up about his calm personality, saying he comes from a home where they don't shout, instead they have conversation, and that's why he avoided chaos and chose empathy over noise. And the sweet guy says, "I prefer conversations to shouting," and that love and empathy are values he carries from home. So no wonder many fans now see him as one of the most emotionally intelligent men of the season. He also spoke about his very good friendship with Imisi and how Imisi was always rooting for him, cheering him on even when she was in other performance task groups, how she was so supportive, such a good friend, and how they built a very genuine relationship with each other, and the reason why they ended up being close like brother and sister in the house, which was evident to everyone who watched it. He was a bit surprised that he survived the game to that extent, because according to him, he never expected he would even get to the top 10 of the program, and was pretty surprised that he kept avoiding or escaping eviction at every stage. Now to the youngest and one of the most mature and exciting, exhilarating and thrilling members of the house, Koyin. When he was asked about Isabella, which every one of us is interested to know about, he didn't dodge or deflect, but he gave a very diplomatic answer. He said people should watch out for him, because the question was, what should we expect from you and Isabella? And he said, expect from me. Anyway, we know that he and Isabella have been going under a lot of fire and bashing from fans for the past few days, but then our eyes are still open to see what will come out of the relationship at the end of the day. But I commend him for his confidence. because the lady interviewing him was seriously trying to get some incriminating responses, as far as I'm concerned, from him. But he was able to hold his ground and try as much as possible to give good answers to the question. Jason J, on the other hand, spoke about Sultana. He admitted that the BBN house can mess with your mind. It does something to your mind, according to him. And that the space does something to you. So what happened. I don't know how to interpret that, but I'd love to hear what you think about that comment. He was trying his best to be honest and diplomatic and not tie himself down to anything. So he wasn't defending, he wasn't blaming, just acknowledging the human experience behind entertainment. What that means for he and Sultana, we really can't tell, but the future will definitely show up with something new. Perhaps the most beautiful moment came when all of them agreed that Biggie had no favorites. For once, these men stood united, and I was really impressed. So it was less about competition, but more about reflection. After weeks of tension, fan wars, this interview showed that the show had actually affected them in some ways. I guess none of them will actually come out of that show the same way they started at the end of the day, which is a sign of growth. So maybe beyond the clickbait and the headlines, this Naija FM interview showed us something deeper. That behind every loud eviction and viral clip, there are real people trying to understand themselves again, because it's a lot. And as for Imisi's so-called powers, maybe her real power was being authentic till the end. But hey, if you have a contrary opinion, as usual, I'd always love to hear what you have to say in the comment section. And please don't forget to like, subscribe to support this brand. And as usual, I will see you in the next video.